Welcome here to MoreTalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, as we do have a brand new concept here on the channel, because what we're going to be doing today is reacting, all of us together, to Barca's defeat against Real Madrid in El Clasico. But what this video is designed to do is basically react more closely and showcase your very own thoughts. So if you do enjoy the concept, and if you do like this kind of style, not only in the bad moments, but also, of course, we're hoping to do this in more positive times, but please do consider leaving a like. It does help the channel a lot, and indeed, for me to recognise what works for you. So without further ado, let's discuss El Clasico, and especially with your reactions. Let's do it. Because if we do indeed kick off here with reaction number one, for me, since the start, we looked without hunger, careless. It looked like we didn't even have something to play for since I saw that attitude. I already saw the game was done and settled. It's like they gave up before they even started. Real Madrid, they were having fun. The Inter game really damaged our confidence, and that there for me is extremely accurate of how I actually felt since the beginning of El Clasico. Because even once the game started yesterday, guys, it felt off to me. Barca just didn't ever feel as though they arrived to the occasion. It was almost as though every single minute it was just passing us by. We were pedestrian. We were waiting for something to happen. In our attacking play, of course, we looked disjointed. At the back, we were certainly standing around waiting for Real Madrid to run past us. And I said yesterday on social media that there was more intensity, more hunger about our performance in the pre-season Clasico, and that is no exaggeration. Yesterday, even from the first minute, before we'd even conceded, we didn't arrive. Now, Blake here was actually at the game. I'm sure that was an absolutely incredible thing to be part of. He said I was at the game and several things stood out to me. He said too long we've relied on technical players that are good with the ball and relied on magic from them. But crucially here, the big quote that I like from this, he said it shouldn't take us 50 passes to be as effective as Madrid in 5. And that is an absolutely spot-on piece of analysis right there, because that's what it almost felt like yesterday, especially in the first half, when Real Madrid went in at half-time with a 2-goal lead, but we were the ones with the ball. We were the ones who played a lot of that game in their half. But doing what? And that is when you have to be really, really careful, especially when you're a Barcelona team, because yes, possession is good. Yes, using the ball and having ball has always been something that we've looked to do. But there's also that famous quote, isn't there? Possession for the sake of possession's sake. It's pointless. As in, if you're just going to have the ball, if you're not going to use it in the right way, if you're not going to use it in the right areas, it's pointless having it unless you have that end product. And that is something that, yet again, we were lacking yesterday. Another great point made here, by the way, I don't understand why we play through the middle so rarely. Lewandowski never gets direct passes. Watching Bayern yesterday, they used Choupo-Moting as a wall at the time, all the time, and it provided 2 goals. And that's a really good point there, that I think we don't go into Lewandowski directly enough. Far from it. Because actually, Lewandowski, when the ball's played directly into him, he can use it well. He manoeuvres his body really well. He can hold the ball up. And also, creatively, he's got quality. Even yesterday, on the very few occasions when actually we played the ball direct to Lewandowski, he played a brilliant ball in behind to Dembele. He slipped the ball into Sergio Roberto. There were chances that he was creating from the very, very minimal balls that went into him. And it's something that I don't understand. Like you say, that I don't understand why we don't see it more. And then there's this, big thank you there for being a channel member. I really appreciate it. And what you're saying here, absolutely right. I don't understand why Pedri, Busquets intentionally slow down our attacks. When we're having the chance to counter against a team, why would we always let them get back in formation and just pass the ball around? Rafinha there, punching there in frustration when Pedri didn't pick him out. Dembele has done that too. And I was watching that game yesterday and seeing exactly the same thing. There were chances when Real Madrid had come forward, when they'd left spaces in behind, like we spoke about there in the tactical preview before the game, when there was opportunities to transition quickly. And for some reason, no matter who it was there picking up that ball in midfield, we just didn't almost feel confident to take on that chance, to actually there play that killer ball, to play that final pass. We would much rather take the safe option. And that is something that, again, we've got to be so careful of, because when you have opportunities, when teams are there for the taking, you've got to be brave. You've got to be bold. You've got to have the confidence to play a risky pass, but often it can be one that can really, really hurt opposition. And that's when I would move on here to a question like this. Do you think that we would have won this game if we'd beaten Inter at the Camp Nou? And that for me, it is interesting. Obviously, we'll never know. It's all hypothetical stuff. But that for me is when it all sort of clicks together. Confidence is massive in this team. I would say more than other top teams in the world. Because for us, I think confidence is kind of like a comfort blanket. It's almost like without that confidence, we don't feel as strong. We don't feel ready to play that killer pass, to take a risk. We'd rather play the safe option. We'd rather play within ourselves when we don't have that boost of confidence. And I think right now, mentally, we've still got a long way to go. We've still got a lot of things that we need to improve on so that we don't have to always rely on just coming into these games full of confidence, because sometimes you won't have that. And when you don't, you've got to learn to deal with it. And speaking indeed about hypotheticals, this one for me is absolutely intriguing. I want to know your thoughts on this down below, guys. If we started with the squad of the last 30 minutes, we would have won the game. Now, what do you think of that? That is really interesting for me. Looking at the way that the game changed when we brought on the likes of Xavi, Ansu Fati, Alba, of course, coming on as well, Ferran and Franck Kessié. But we did, for me, look a lot stronger in that final period of the game. Obviously, we got our goal. I thought Ansu brought a lot of really impressive play in that final third. But had we started with that team, had we hit Real Madrid with that kind of intensity from the word go, well, it could have looked differently. It could have had a completely different feel about the game, and that is why your starting lineup, the team that you start the game with, you've got to get that right, and Xavi cannot afford to make mistakes in a game like this. From the beginning, there was, of course, plenty of opinion on Sergio Busquets, and there were some brutal thoughts right here. We played flat with no inspiration, no real desire to win. The only two that play like that are Xavi and Ansu. And this quote here, Busquets looked like he retired from winning before he retired from playing. That is an absolutely brutal quote right there on Sergio Busquets. And just to sort of further on from that there, Busquets should be dropped, not only for his performance from the Inter game, but his comments after the game, and then his performance against Real Madrid. It's time for a revolution. The captains have had their era. It's time to move forward, and it's sad because the new generation would not know how amazing Piqué or Busquets were at one time. They should leave now before they ruin their legacy. And that final line there is one that I often feel quite sad about, because I don't want to sit here, video in, video out, constantly criticising what are legends of this club. I don't want to come here and constantly bash Busquets, bash Piqué. That's not what any of us want to do, but the problem is, you've got to know when it's time to walk away. You've got to understand, look around you, read the room, and realise I can no longer give my best. It's time to step aside. Now, we've seen our other legends do it in the past. Xavi himself, when he was a player, he walked away. Iniesta walked away. Carlos Puyol walked away when they felt they could no longer give the best of themselves. And that is what we have to see, and what we haven't really seen from the captains of this club. So that, in the end, it doesn't get to this stage. And there were also too plenty of thoughts there and feelings that were expressed in the community section. Honestly speaking, I don't feel anything anymore, because since 2016, it's been like this. So I expect it to happen. I don't feel anything when it actually happens. Believe me, I can't stop loving this team. And I think probably all of us can relate to sort of comments and feelings like that, in all honesty, guys. Because I remember, years ago, if Barça had lost a Clasico, it would be unthinkable. It would be something there that I couldn't imagine. I didn't want to imagine. I'd be heartbroken if we so much as lost a game to Real Madrid. But I think here and now, we've kind of gotten numb to it. Not just against Real, but in other games there where we suffered humiliations, disappointments. And in the end, you just think, well, yeah, it's kind of happened again, hasn't it? We kind of got to accept this right now because it's what we're getting used to. And if anything, that's more concerning to me. I would rather be really hurt about this, surprised by our defeat, than actually saying right now, yeah, well, I kind of saw it coming. I could understand there was a threat that we were going to lose this game, that we were going to drop out of the Champions League, all of this kind of stuff. I don't want to accept that. I don't want to be in a situation here whereby we're getting used to failure. That's not Barça, and that is not any of us here want to feel. So that there, guys, was something that was completely new and different here on the channel. I just thought that after a game like this, where there are so many emotions, so many feelings, especially among here Barcelona fans, I did want to look into yours more. I do want to pay them special attention and discuss them here, because that's what it's all about. You know, we may be feeling down right now, we may be feeling angry, upset, hurt, but we have to share that together, and we have to ultimately come together as one to battle against this, and of course hope that things can improve for us. So please do let me know more of your thoughts down below, more of your reactions to what we've spoken about today, and I do hope here that you are still enjoying, maybe not enjoying in the same way, but I hope getting something from the videos here on the channel. I appreciate you coming back and watching, even during these difficult moments. I will though see you soon, with more coming up of course, but until next time, as always, Visca el Barça!